Okay. Sige. So, ang atong topic this evening is still the continuation of this book series lecture, The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. So, ato move on ta sa chapters in Resisting Temptation.
Dino.
Hello, Frances. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Ay, good evening na di ay. Wala pa. Wala pa.
Hello.
Hey, good evening, Tito Dino.
Good evening.
Dito.
Okay. Sige, masugod ta. Unbridled affections. When a man desires a thing too much, he at once becomes restless. A proud and avaricious a man never rests, whereas he who is poor and humble of heart lives in a world of peace. So, say pasabot ato. Kung sa katao, mag-start siya o desire on something, anything, it be career, it be a person, it be a thing, gadget, anything. If he desires that too much,
Ay, Tito Dino.
hello, he at once becomes restless. No? Dili siya mapakali. I'm sure ako, I don't know about you, pero na-experience ko na sa una. Until now, sometimes, kung nakay gusto ka, ayan, no? And, pag, the worst thing is kung sa mga sinful nga mga desires. So, ang isa ka tao nga proud, would never rest. You become, ang imong heart would be restless. Pero ang usa ka tao nga humble of heart, just like in the gospel today, poor in spirit, no, is can live in peace, no? Kay ang tao nga simple of heart, humble of heart, he desires only God. Unang be careful ta nga dili ta mo aspire too much of anything. May it be a person or a property or a career or some things. It makes him sad to forgo his desire. He is quick to anger if reproved. No? Ang uban, tagaan na nimo red flags, kini nga tawo nga naga pangulitaw nimo na signs nga dili maayo. Kini nga business murag delikado ni. And then kung gusto kaayo nimo ang usa ka bagay, isa ka tawo nangulitaw nimo bisag daghan ng red flags, masuko ka. No? If you desire something too much, advisean ka, bisan pa is for your own good. Moingon dayon na nasina lang mo, no? Mo na may tabo. And then sometimes bisag kabalo ka nga makadaot na sa imo, ha, you still go on with it, especially when it comes to food or mga bisyo. And then mahuman nimo og satisfy ang imong desire of that thing or of that sin. You thought after you give in to that desire, masatisfy ka, but no, it will not be satisfied, but on the contrary, ang imong feeling is remorse because you followed your passions. So sa ulahin na ang pagsisisi, huh? Just like this woman in the picture. Konsensya siya kay nikaon siyang daghan para sa atoa, no? So, ang secret for the true peace in the heart is found, no, in resisting the passion. So, if you are able to say no, to bridle your passion, your appetite, it will result in true peace. Abi nato, no, if on atong pasugtan ang atong appetites, ang atong desire, makontento ta, no, it will lead to the opposite. remorse, and then troubled heart. True peace of the heart is found in resisting the passions and not in satisfying them. No? If you able to resist it, you will be more peaceful and become more strong in the future. And then you are proud of yourself that you're able to withstand it. Of course, not proud in the sense of an evil pride, but you are proud of your control with the help of God, with the grace of God. Vain is the man who puts his trust in men, in created things. So be careful. Sayon mo ingon nga, ay Jesus is my everything, I trust in the Lord, but subconsciously, unconsciously, we rely on people in our connections, in our wealth, in created things. Like, nganong daghan man gyud magpa bisag kabalo na ta nga it is a grave sin to belong to be a member of Freemasonry, pero daghang Katoliko mo apil gyapon because they want connections, and a lot of people, they want power in the government, they want to be associated with these powerful people, officials. They want to be magpasipsip, magpaduol, even though this person is already not doing honorable things, but they keep on praising this person so that they will gain advantage. Because our trust, we put it on people, on created things. No? Sometimes we break God's commandment just to put our trust in men, in our connections. Ang Freemasonry, daghang Katoliko, kailan nato, no? Bisag diri sa Usamis, dili gyud mo tuo nga it is not allowed to be a Catholic and at the same time member of a Freemasonry. If you want to hear the full lecture about this, done by Father Chris Alar, topic niya, nindot ang iyang topic ani, no? Sa YouTube by Father Chris Alar. Si Archbishop Soc Villegas, ang iyang letter, muna iyang letter, ingon siya, number 1, the position of the Catholic Church with regards to lay Catholics joining Masonry remains the same. Nga naman, tungod kay na ay mga Masons, no? Simba, mga lawat, actually they are not allowed anymore to receive Holy Communion. They would justify that certain priests, bishop so and so nagsulat nga sa ilang kolom nga okay na daw, gi-change na daw during the 1983 Code of Canon Law. So kini recent lang ni siya nga letter ni Archbishop Soc Villegas from the Vatican. Yan siya, the position of the Catholic Church with regards to lay Catholic joining Masonry remains the same. Therefore, they are living in a situation of grave sin by joining and remaining to be members of a Masonic organization. Grave sin. Huh? Don't say that it is the only church. It's not in the Bible, because the church and Christ are one. No? It was given the authority to command, to govern, to teach, and to sanctify. Number 2, the right to change this position, with regards to this teaching belongs only to the Holy See. meaning the Pope. And no individual bishop can change the position of the Holy See with regards to lay Catholics who join Masonic organization. So walay, kung naay pare ka mo ingon diha nga pwede mo join, naay obispo mo sulti, pwede mo join og Mason. No, wala siya authority to change the teaching of the church. Only the Pope can change it. Number 3. The teaching of the Catholic Church based on divine revelation and church tradition and the philosophy contained in the Handbook of Masons are disconsonant. Dili siya compatible. Therefore, Catholics are forbidden from joining any Masonic lodge because the principles of Masonry remain incompatible with the church doctrine. In a nutshell, unsa man gid ang principles of Masonry? Religious indifferentism. Religious indifferentism. No matter what church you belong, you are okay as long as you are a good person. And that teaching is dangerous. Why? Because Jesus said, there is only one name given under heaven in which we must be saved. It is the name Jesus Christ. But in the Freemasonry, ang ilahang message is bisan pag unsa imong tinuohan. Dili sila mudawat og dili mo tuo Ginoo, nindot paminawon kay dili sila mutawat og atheist, but subtle ang attack. Any religion, any belief, as long as you do good. Delikado. Religious indifferentism. Okay. So, enough with the Freemasonry. Ako lang ang side insert because of kadaghan ng mga Katoliko nga proud pa sila nga they are Masons. Pero they do not know. If you have a family member, friends, tell them. It is not to condemn them. It is to save them. I announced this to my friends who are Masons. They hated me. But I don't care. But because my announcement for them is to give them a warning, it is for their own good, and it is not to condemn. Next, do not be ashamed to serve others for the love of Jesus Christ and to those seem poor in this world. Do not be ashamed to serve others for the love of Jesus and to those seem poor in this world. So, sa ipasabot, ayaw kaulaw to be associated with those people who are considered low class. Sometimes we choose people who are the upper class. Diha lang ta. Di ta gusto ma-associate nila, mag-hang out ni sa ilaha and then to serve them. And do not be self-sufficient, but place your trust in God. Do what lies in your power, and God will aid your goodwill. Sa shortcut nga pagkasulti, do your best and God will do the rest. But never be self-sufficient. Kanang mingong kag, I did it my way. Dapat ang motto nato, I did it God's way. And kanang meme nga, believe in yourself. Believe in God. Kay bisan pag unsa ka talented, you will be humbled. Even if how master you are, if you believe only in yourself, believe in God, because you will be humbled if you become proud of your abilities. We cannot do anything without Christ. Put no trust in your own learning, nor in the cunning of any man. Sa imong mga own learning nimo, because you are so wise, you are street smart, you are clever, you have genius, high IQ. Don't put your trust on those. Nor in the friends mo nga bright, no? Or ang iyang pagka-clever, but rather in the grace of God who helps the humble and humbles the proud. Kining humble o proud, do not be misled thinking that you are humble because you don't say it. Don't be misled that you are not proud because you don't say it. You can still be proud inside your mind, even if you do not show it. Even if you don't advertise your material things, you can still be proud inside your mind. When you look down on other people and when you always think that, look how talented I am, how smart I am, how slow they are. Even in your heart, you can start being proud. So, kung nakakuno to kay wealth, do not glory in it, nor in your friends, because they are powerful. I'm guilty in that in the past, or sometimes it creeps on you, just like your weight. Nagkuan ka, diet ka, and then naniwang ka na, tapos mo yung ganyan mga friends. Be careful, it will slowly creep up, no? Yan po na we always watch and guard our hearts. Sometimes kung natin mga friends, when they are powerful, unconsciously muratag comfortable peace of mind because we have friends kung naay magkaunsa-unsa na tayo matawagan, no? Labi nating mga powerful sa government, sa business. Do not glory in your wealth, do not glory in your friends because they are powerful, but in God who gives all things and who desires above all to give Himself. Do not boast of your personal stature or physical beauty. Kay taas ka, no? Nagwapa ka, no? Because these qualities can be destroyed by a little sickness. No? Nato isa ka model karon naigo siya sa nikalit lang siya og blood clot. Kalit lang di siya ginawa karon naa siya sa ospital. Namaot yun, no? So do not boast of your personal stature or physical beauty. Isang iglap pwede nang mawala. Do not take pride in your talent or ability lest you displease God. Always acknowledge glory be to God. It's not even enough Jesus just say you post it in your Facebook and then glory be to God. Okay? Ang uban, abi nila naana sila excuse sa pahambog. Basta sumpayan lang nila glory be to God. Na ay time, appropriate time, but ang importante gyud ang imong heart. Ang imong heart. Ang imong talent, you really deep inside you, you're really convinced that if not for God, you are nothing. This ability was given to you for a responsibility in order to glorify God and to serve others. Not for your may kamusayaw, may kamukanta, tanan, and then nidato ka, sikat na ka, and then mayroon ka, why would I give? Why would I share? Why would I give this money, this hard-earned money? Pangalisdan na ako ni, nangalisod ko. Kadag ko ninyo glawas. No, muna dahil na atong bukang bibig, kadag ko ninyo glawas. Di man po na dahil maniwang ang pupri. Pila pa na kasi bulan maniwang, munang dagko na sila glawas. So, alangan man po ang atong tagaan lang po katong skin and bones. Dili man pinanglan. Don't take pride in your talent ability because all natural talents came from God. Always acknowledge in your heart. No? It all starts in the mind. It all starts in the mind. So train your mind to acknowledge, to be humble. Without God, you're nothing. Do not think of yourself better than others. A lot of us are guilty of this, especially me. No, it creeps on us. It gets us off guard, caught us off guard. You will, nakay mahuna-hunaan, a thing comes to your mind, and then you say, you pat yourself on the back, I'm better than others. No? Kontra gina ni Lord. Lest perhaps you will be accounted worse in the eyes of God, who knows what is in man. Kaila siya kang gitsa ka. Kabalo siya unsay basura na sa imong heart. Kabalo siya asa kataman. It is better to think others, no? Better than you. Bisan pa o bisan pag tinuod nga mas better ka sa iya, it is much better to think of others better than you. So do not take pride in your good deeds, even in your good deeds. No? Sometimes, no? Uy, nagkuhan ka, nag-lecture ka, nag-preach ka, no? I try to, as much as possible, try not to dwell on it. Pero na temptation, guys, Satan, maigid mo, mukaan, i-dwell on it. Nanghatag ka, natabang ka. And then, ibalik-balik niya sa imo, ha? Para mo relax ka. And then, you think good of yourself. So, reminder, do not take pride in your good deeds, for God's judgments differ from those of men. Sa mata sa tao, hero na ka. No? Pero, sa mata sa Ginoo, like, kabalo siya sa imong heart. And what pleases people often displeases God. No? So, don't let people be your judge on your eternal destiny. Daghang gadayeg na ako. No. For example, ako man ang gini-post sa Facebook, sa YouTube ang lecture. Daghang kayo mo comment, all praises. 90% of those, all praises, pasalamat. But I do not depend so much my eternal salvation on those praises. Why? Because they don't know my heart. Only God knows my heart. No? If there is good in you, see more good in others. Makakonsensya, no? Makakonsensya. Kung buutan ka, always see the good in others more, so that you may remain humble. So, dili niya ako ang sinulat, ha? From the book Imitation of Christ. So, it will not harm you, if you esteem yourself less than anyone else. But it is very harmful to think of yourself better even one person. It is harmful to think of yourself better than even one. So, it doesn't do you any harm to think less of yourself compared to others. The humble live in continuous peace. So that is 100% true. So if you want to live in peace, you be humble. So kung ang mga humble, the saints, they will be treated unjustly. Wala bisag masanginlan sila. They will think, I deserve this. No? So si Saint John Vianney, giingnan siya sa isa ka pare, gi-report siya sa isa ka pare, dapat siya tangtangon sa iyang pagkapare kay mao niyang gibuhat, unsay sulti ni Saint John Vianney, tubag niya, yes bishop, dapat gid ko nimo tangtangon kay kung naikailagi pagib ka nako kung kitsa ko na di ko karapat dapat. Ha? So he is so humble. So walay grudge imong heart, wala naga-rebulto, no? While in the hearts of the proud are envy and frequent anger. Shunning over familiarity. Okay, do not open your heart to every man. Be careful. Even if you are trusting, my life is an open book. Ang ibang gani, ginawaragwag pa sa Facebook ang ilang kinabuhi. No? Not good. Do not open your heart. No? But discuss your affairs, especially personal things, with the one who is wise and who fears God. Be not the flatterer of the rich, nor seek the society of the great. Human tendency gini nga kung kinsa tong great, pa-picture ta, apil kita picture, malipay kita, tapos kung makapa-picture ta og mga sikat, mga dagkong kuan sa tao sa society, proud ka ita, no? Do not nor be the flatterer of the rich. We always, so kabalo naman kaon say flatter, di ba? Imong ginapadako ang ilang mga kuan sa dili na kaayo dayigon gyud, no? Let your company be the humble and the simple, the devout and the gentle, no? And let your conversations be concerning with things that enlighten, no? About the faith, about life, which enlightens our life. And choose for your companions God and His angels. And as much as possible, avoid the notice of men. So, I know what you're thinking. If you have not yet decided to let go of the world, this message, the imitation of Christ, is too extreme. No? Imagine, avoid the notice of men. I'm trying my best to apply this. That's why recently, ang akong mindset, hinay-hinay nagkausap, is trying to applying this. Kung imo nang na-decide to go all the way for Jesus and to let go of this world because you are seeking the kingdom, it is the kingdom and your salvation and salvation of others, you will find this refreshing. These advices, you will find this refreshing. But if you haven't let go pa, duha pa imong ginagunitan, world ug si God, you cannot serve both God and mammon. You cannot serve both God and yourself. Medyo lisod pa ni sa imo, ha? No? Imagine, no? Choose for your companions God and His angels. Meaning, be comfortable to be alone with God. We ought to have charity for all men, meaning we need to show our love to all men. But familiarity with all is not expedient, meaning it's not prudent, it's not wise to be familiar with all, to open, to be kabalutanan ng tao sa imong kinabuhi, no? We have to love all men, but choose whom to be close or familiar with. Sometimes it happens that a person enjoys a good reputation among those who do not know him, but at the same time is held in slight regard by those who do. So, pasabot na. Kung napabitaw ang mystery, usually acquaintance, ikaw ni, high regard ka kung wala pa kay kanailhan. Mo nang insulting ha, over familiarity breeds contempt. Di ba? There is truth to that. Kay, once makilala ka na niya, ay ingani din siya. Sa una, kabantay mo ang mga lecturer, mas ginakuha ang mga lecturer sa ubang mga lugar kumpara sa local. Nga naman, over familiarity na, murag, kabalo na po, Pero, kung kabalot ang mga speaker or singers or mga performers, gikan sa Murag sense of mystery, and then they're not too familiar with that person, na ay good reputation. Pero makita na nila imong mannerisms, mo din siya, too much familiarity, mulesen ang ilang tanaw sa imo. Na? Person enjoys a good reputation among those who do not know him, but at the same time is held in slight regard by those who do. Okay, next, obedience and subjection. It is a very great thing to obey, to live under a superior, and not to be own's master. So, kung mapiliot, to be under a superior or to be the superior, it is much better daw to be under a superior, because every time you obey, you are proving your love for God. For it is much safer to be subject than it is to command. No? So, tendency na to, gusto ta kitay bossing, kitay matsunod. Di ta gusto, especially kung natin join tag mga group, organization, kapuyan ta mo obey. No? Sugo-suguan lang ta. Pa-arrange yun ta og lingkuranan. Pana, manang muban, dili mo join og organization or mga ministry. Who is so wise that he can have full knowledge of everything? Do not trust too much in your own opinions, but be willing to listen to those of others. No? Although sa kanindot sa imong opinion, learn to listen to others. Okay, you don't know everything. So, even ang imong opinion is good, for the love of God, accept the opinion of others. Huh? And you will merit more in the eyes of God. So, parehas mo maayo ang inyong suggestion sa isa ka na may plano. Yung iyang plano is still good, but not as good as you. But for the love of God, you give way, no? Because the situation calls for it. You give way, you gain more merit. Lahi na po nang ang iyang opinion is bakat. Ayo, dili ka barugan gini mo ang kamaturan. So kini nga situation nga example is for opinions about example planning nga parehas nga maayo. Ha? Even though much better sa imong tanaw ang imong idea, you give way for the Lord. Avoiding idle talk. Shun the gossip of men as much as possible. For discussion of worldly affairs, even though sincere, is a great distraction. Distraction to what? Distraction to prayer. Distraction to self-examination of conscience. Distraction to meditation, being with God, to advance in virtue. It is vain, vanity, walay kapuslanan, discussion of worldly affairs, even how sincere you are. Pero, naay time and place for that. But, pero nahurot na imong oras, o sige na lang kag storya bahin na ana, it is a distraction, because at the end of in the end of your life, when you face God, God will ask you, did you have fruit of virtues? So, you don't have time because you are preoccupied of, sometimes, even we are so sincere, sometimes we think that we are doing it for our country, for our group, or anything, but sometimes it's pride. We want to prove ourselves to others that I am right. Importante ba ng usahay? But mas importante ang atong kalag. Why do we converse and gossip among ourselves? We talk about other people, about the life of other people. Oh, siya no, okay, mana, nagbulag na sila, ang iyang anak, muna ito mga topic, or ang artista, or ang politiko, or sa kinsa. So, Nganong ginabuhat mo na to na? Because we seek comfort from another's conversation. Mo na human tendency. And wish to ease the mind wearied by diverse thoughts. Okay? But as often as we do it, we go home with troubled conscience. Because the more we talk, the more mistake we commit. Makasumpay ka, di mao, more than you should say. Diba? Makasumpay ka sa ginatawag nga gossip, slander, or kanang an expression of anger. Hence, we talk and think quite fondly of things we like. Muna yan ito mga topic, gusto ginako ni, di ginako ganahan ni, di ko na yung ganahan ni tawhana. Muna, we think fondly of things we like, very much of the things we dislike intensely. But sad to say, we often talk vainly and to no purpose. No? Actually, kung imong nanaan, magtapok-tapok mo, no direction. We never talk about spiritual things that enlighten. For this external pleasure effectively hinder inward and divine consolations. So, why do we not receive divine consolation from God? Because we spend our time useless things. The meaning of vain is useless, no? Walay kabuhuluhan. Matthew 12:36. This is a sobering warning for us. But I tell you that men will give an account on the day of judgment for every useless word they have spoken. Everything that comes out of our mouth, useless, idle words, careless words, we will give an account to God in Judgment Day. Devout conversations on spiritual matters, on the contrary, is a great aid to spiritual progress, especially when persons of the same mind. So, when you reorient your life to Christ, to Jesus, you have to start choosing your friends. You have to start choosing your appointments. You can learn to say no. And muna insulting if your right hand will cause you to sin, cut it out. It's better to have one hand and go to heaven than two hands go to hell. If your right eye causes you to sin, cut it out. Kasi pasabot it's not literal cutting out of the hand and eyes. It's an example of if your friends will lead you to sin, don't stay with them for long, no? Or you meet them kung necessary lang. You screen the people around you. Meaning, those things that are dear to you, your sports, your hobbies, or anything, your Netflix, if this causes you to sin, I try to avoid watching Netflix. Nalang i-recommend nga kita naon. Because if you just scan on Netflix, I think most sa Netflix, 90% demonic. Grabe ang violence, grabe ang... It will just put garbage in your mind, and then when you pray, it flashbacks. You cannot focus because the movie, no? The movie keeps coming back on your mind. Acquiring peace and zeal for perfection. We should enjoy much peace if we did not concern ourselves with what others say and do, for these are not our concern. No? Kung pasagdan lang ito nato, kung unsay gisulti sa uban sa atoa, unsay ilang gibuhat pod, less stress. Kung naay may muhatod sa imuha, ay wa na koy plano maminaw ana. It's their own opinion. You cannot control their opinion. No? And also, ang ilang life, kung sa ilang mga gibuhat diha, nangitabo, you will have more time for self-reflection. You will have more peace. Huh? Blessed are the simple of heart, for they shall enjoy peace in abundance. So, mga simple of heart, always thinking about the will of God, how to improve himself, how to root out evil vices in our heart. Just imagine your heart na ay mga daghan siyang mga chambers. Those vices, some of them are lurking inside your heart. So, kana bitang self-examination. You try to remove those mga stain nga nagatapot sa imong heart. Evil na siya. Nga naa na siya sa imong heart, it will just pop up. Like for example, you hear a news that someone, this person, your friend, or someone that irritated you in the past, had cancer, had stroke, or ang iyahang business na failed. And then there's something of you have delight. Mura kang nalipay. Buti nga, even if you don't admit it, so those are example of evil vices in your heart that creeps up. What do you, ano sa may imong response? Lord, help me to rid me of this thought. This is an evil thought. No, this is an evil thought. This is evil. This is not good. No? So, ingana ang self-examination. We are too occupied with our own whims and fancies to taken up with passing things. Rarely do we completely conquer even one vice. Di ganita makakonquer og isa ka vice, no? So may mga vice nato. Kaning 7 deadly sins, di ba? Sloth, anger, avarice, greed, wrath, envy, no? Lust. Yan na. So, ang atong especially ang pagkatamad, no? We are not inflamed with a desire to improve ourselves day by day. Kung ato lang ko nung ginamortify ang atong body, kung sa may pasabot sa mortify, you are killing your flesh, dying in your flesh, no? You mortify means to die. If you mortify your body perfectly and you allow no distractions to enter your mind, we could appreciate divine things. Yeah, that's true. Kung sige kag hulom sa mga bakat, sige kag hulom sa mga worldly things, Netflix, mo na imong ginahuluman kanunay, pleasure after pleasure, pleasure after pleasure, your divine aspect will be numb. Tinuod gina, you cannot serve both masters at the same time. No? So, mula akong example, balik-balik, I try to screen the things that goes inside my. Di na ko sig tanaw og mga movies. And experience something of heavenly contemplation. When we encounter some slight difficulty, we are easily dejected and turn to human consolations. Mana, di tayo tapakakali, no? Muna insultin lang, stress ko, kaon mo chocolate, stress ko, stress eating. Ang uban, ato sa human comfort. The first thing we do is to go to God. No? No man is an island, yeah, we need friendship, but human beings can only do so much, up to a point lang. But only God can give us peace of mind, true peace of mind. If we let our progress in religious life depend on external observance, our devotion will end quickly. So, kung ang atong pagka-religious, ang atong pagka-devout, taman lang sa panglabas, external observance lang, rosary, novena, simba, listening to Christian music, ana lang, pero wala bitaw ni tagos sa imong heart, wala yun ka nag-internalize, reflect on treating Jesus as a person to be loved, as a friend, no? You are not hitting the axe to the root. Your being devout will prematurely end. Kung ato ko nung matangtang bisag usa lang ka-vice kada tuig, dali ra kay ta mangin perfect. Pero ang problema lang kay sa una sa atong conversion nag-resolve ta to be a good person, pero as years goes by, instead of becoming better, nag-atras man hinoon, no? Imbis going upward, nag-regress hinoon ta. And our fervor of progress ought to increase day by day. Yet it is now considered noteworthy if a man can retain even part of his first fervor. Swerte na kung napay mabilin sa imong unang resolusyon. If you do not overcome small things about mga temptations, how will you overcome more difficult ones? Resist temptation in the beginning and unlearn the evil habit, lest perhaps little by little it lead to a more evil one. From the beginning, resist temptations na. It is good for us to have trials and troubles at times, for they often remind us that we are on probation. Katry mo nga, after usa ka trial, kay mga papeles, human na solve mga problema, na po niabot na po ng problema, and then you wish may tag ano sa maniwan naman ni kahumanan. I envy those people nga murag walay problema, but sa tinuod lang, it is good for us to have troubles and trials at times, because they will keep us on our foot, no? Keep us on our toes di ay, no? Kay, for example, si Saint Paul, to keep him from being proud, puffed up with pride, ipadalan siya ni God of thorn. It could be a disease. And he asked the Lord to remove it. But the Lord said, no, my grace is sufficient for you. So, kini, nagapa-remind sa ato, nga, dili ni mo itong permanente nga kalibutan nga balay. Ang atong permanente nga balay sa langit. So, kini nga mga trials, when we pray, Hail Holy Queen, this is the valley of tears. No? So, we will be excited to go to our true home, heaven. Mao na nga blessing ang trials. Mindset ba? Mindset. So, kung yung mindset, ang trials blessing, hindi na kamaraton. Di ba? So, it is good for us sometimes to suffer contradiction. No? So, now you heard this, dili na ka ma-devastate kaayo kung naitaw mo contradict nimo. Or you will be misjudged by men, even though ang imong intentions are good. Misjudge ka, gipasinginlan ka. So these things help us to be humble and shield us from vain glory. When to all outward appearance men give us no credit, they do not think well of us. No? So if that happens, we are inclined to seek God. No? And di niya ma-realize nga he should not seek the consolation of men but of God. And when we experience multiple trials, we are saddened by the miseries of this life, of this earth, and then we wish, just like Saint Paul, he wished for death. He wants to be with the Lord. Huh? And he understands fully that the perfect security and complete peace cannot be found on earth. Again, complete peace, complete and perfect security cannot be found here on earth, because we are not created to remain on earth forever. This is just a stopping ground lang ni siya. Philippians chapter 1 verse 22. Ingon si Saint Paul, I desired to depart and be with Christ, which is better by far. Nag-desire na siya nga, kwao na siya. No? Yeah, I am torn between the two. But it is more necessary for you that I remain in the body. Makatabang po nga magpabilin kong buhi for the church, because he is still useful. So yan na po no? The only thing nga nung gusto pa tayo mabuhi is to serve. So long as we live in this world, we cannot escape suffering and temptation. Okay? Huwag ka na lang umasa na you will escape this. As long as you live, you cannot escape suffering and temptation. Just like what Job said, the life of a man upon earth is a warfare. No one is so perfect or so holy that he is not tempted. Even the desert fathers, even those holy saints, Saint Teresa of Avila, they are bombarded with temptations. No? So man cannot be altogether free from temptation. Everyone therefore must guard against temptation, must watch in prayer, lest the devil, who never sleeps, will find occasion to deceive us. And then you say, wala lagi ko yung temptation, wala lagi ko yung attempt. Delikado na. Because, ingon si St. John Benet, katong tao nga wala in-attempt, and the life is so comfortable, you could be already in his basket. No? Ang tao nga sige niya haras, katong tao nga wala pa sa iya. The greatest evil daw, the greatest evil in your life is not to be tempted. Because, meaning you are already, because the holier you are, the more you will be harassed by the enemy. Yet temptations, though troublesome, are useful to man, because it will be used to humble and purify and instruct the man. The saints all passed through many temptations and trials to profit by them, while those who could not resist, katong wala sila naka-hold on till the end, they fell away. So, kinsa man ang tagag award or reward ni God, katuba ang ni hold on for 20 years, 30 years? No. Only those who hold on until the end. Ingon sa Matthew chapter 10 verse 22, endure, you will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. So there is no state so holy, no place so secret that temptations and trials will not come. Bisan pag tuwa ka sa monasteryo, bisan pag dito lang ko kay wala yung mga iritasyon ng mga tao dito. Dito lang ko magmungha ko. No, they will come. Because they will come from within us. Katong sulti na ako ganiha, it's in your heart, dala-dala nimo. Those evil things that lurks inside your heart. In sin we are born. Because of original sin. It lives in us. Even if you have been washed by the sanctifying grace, naagyapoy kapabilin diya inside your heart. So you have to control it. So we are tempted from outside and from within. When one temptation trial passes, another comes. We shall always have something to suffer because we are born in original sin. Many people try to escape temptations only to fall more deeply. We cannot conquer simply by fleeing, but by patience and true humility, we become stronger than all our enemies. Okay, ako ni-explain na kay basig lisod ni Sabton. Na nag-comment. Di ba, Doc? We should flee from temptation. Okay. Ang ginagamit rin Old English, sometimes it is synonymous to trials. Of course, we should run away from mga temptations against chastity, against avarice. Dili nato i-expose atong self sa sin against chastity, like magkamulang duha sa imuhang boyfriend or girlfriend sa ngit-ngit. That's delikado na. Or you expose yourself to barkada nga mahilig mag-inom, delikado na. So you avoid those things. Ang ipasabot dire is trials, no? Dili pwede nga mulikay-likay lang ka, dili nimo i-confront. Like for example, being with a person who is irritating, working with a person who is irritating, or sharing a home with a person that gets into your nerves. So that is a trial. So you just flee, mubalhin kong trabaho, muhawa ko kay irritating. Wala ni mo renew imong mind. You did not ask the Lord to help you. Just like Saint Faustina, Lord, do not remove my trials, but just give me grace so that I can withstand this. So kung dili nimo na i-confront, abi nimo kay nibalhin ka, nilikay ka sa mga irritating nga mga tao, abi nimo pasensyoso ka na. But nilikay ka, wala na test ang imuhang patience. So we cannot conquer simply by fleeing, but by patience and true humility, we become stronger. You become more patient. When you decide to stay, decide to endure those people who are troublesome. The man who only shuns temptations outwardly and does not uproot them will make little progress. Indeed, they will quickly return more violent than before. So, likay-likay lang ka, pero pag abot na dahil mo nakasasdalan, dili ka tinuod ka pasensyoso, road rage, makapatay ka pag tao, or commit pa kag mortal sin, you will be caught in unguarded moments, right? Romans chapter 12 verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Just like example, you are praying, Lord, transform my wife. You pray, but as you pray, change this person who is irritating, my sister, my brother, my co-worker. Just continue praying. At di mo mamalayan, kadugayan, ikaw na di ayang ma-renew. And then you will become, matingala lang ka, nga hindi naman kung masuko dayon, kumusulti siya because you will be transformed. You know? You'll be able to test and approve that God's will is good, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. So kinahanglan i-transform nimo imong mind in everything that you do, even in diet. So personal experience, dugay na kay ko gusto mag-diet, wa gyud ko niniwang, but when I started to convince and brainwash my mind, when I transform my mind why I need to diet, nag-follow ang body. Una nga, you have to convince yourself that God is good. For example, why is watching pornography is sin. You have to convince your mind. You have to be convinced that it is really evil. It is, kay kung may nga lang sige, dili lang ko mag-watch, kay sulti sa simbahan, dili ko mag-watch, bawal. Wala gid ka na-convince in yourself na sala gid na, dautan gid na siya. So, makakita ka, mutanaw na po ka if unguarded moments. Pero kung you are really convinced in your at the root that the commands of God are good, that it is for your own good, everything, you are convinced, you will be stronger. Do not be harsh with others who are tempted. Ito mga nakasala, console them and be not harsh with them. Temptation shows us what we are. They will expose us of what we really are. Huh? So above all, we must be especially alert against the beginning of temptation, because it is more easily conquered at the start. We already block it. Example, muna. Common kayong example na ko parate sa mga magtiayon. It always starts with a text, and then magkadugay ng text mo with other people that is not your wife, that is not your husband. Wala man kaming isa mang ginagawa. So diha pa lang sa text o mga too much familiarity na, you stop it already. Because it will bloom. You will never know. Huh? So, isa sa mga example. A mere thought, so ang temptation nga ni mag-operate. A mere thought comes to mind, and then strong imagination, followed by pleasure, and then evil delight, and then you will consent. Because he is not resisted in the beginning, Satan gains full entry. So sa thought pa lang gasugod, stop na. That is why, ang commandment ni God, do not covet your neighbor's wife, do not covet your neighbor's property. Because covet is in the thought. You want to get in your thought. And the longer man delays in resisting, he becomes more weaker. If he delayed, the longer. So, in the first instance of you pray na Hail Mary. Ang uban, niya lang mo pray, kay murag lami pa, na. Patay ka. The enemy grows stronger against him each day. Some, at the beginning of the conversation, they are harassed by the enemy. Some, all throughout. Some, halos walay harassment. It depends on God. Kabalo siya kung kinsa ang iyang taga-ano bugat ng mga trials. It depends on His wisdom. We should not despair when we are tempted, but we have to pray more fervently. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, no temptation has seized you except that is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. He knows your capacity. He knows your limit. No? He will not allow trials that you cannot bear. So, every trials is an opportunity for merit and virtue. When a man is not troubled, it is easy to be fervent. No? Kung wala tayo trial, sayo na kayo to be devout, to be prayerful, but makita gini mo ang tinuod nga virtue sa tao when it comes to adversity. Okay. So, ang uban, nakapanagang sila sa mga great trials, great temptations. Pero, makuratan sila, dito sila na tumba sa small temptation lang. Sometimes God allows that in order for you to be humbled. Because sometimes, yung abi ni mo strong na ka, but because you are proud and you did not rely on the power of God, i-discipline ka ni God, you will fall on just very small temptation. So that you will not presume your own strength in great ones. Okay. Diyan sa tatataman. Daghan tara, no? Hello, Sister Teresa, Sister Terry, welcome. Si Sarah, okay. Auntie Moyeng, Tita Esther, okay. Tumunga na ako, nag-greet si Brad Glenn. Sige, ang potasis.
Okay, let us all pray the Hail Mary. In the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Hail Mary,
full of grace.
the Lord
The
is
Lord
with you.
is with you.
Blessed are you
Blessed are
among
you
women,
among women,
and blessed is
and
the
blessed
fruit
is the fruit
of thy
of thy
womb,
womb, Jesus.
Holy
Holy
Mary,
Mary, Mother of God,
pray for
pray
us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Salamat po.
Thank you, brothers and
Thank you,
sisters.
everyone.
See you.
Thank you.
See you
Nora,
next
thank you.
week. God
thank you.
bless. God
Thank
bless.
you.
Ayos?